In this Demon Souls Remake build guide, I'm going to be covering my Gloom Knight build, which uses a shield and spear to pick off enemies. This build is particularly good for beginners or new Demon Souls players, as it allows them to kill targets safely while holding block. The Gloom Knight uses a combination of spear and shield to attack enemies while they maintain their block. Spears are some of the only weapons in Demon Souls that can block while attacking, making them extremely new player friendly. This allows them to deal damage with much less risk than the average melee character while dealing piercing damage, which is one of the better damage types in Demon Souls. Additionally, the Gloom Knight uses heavy armor with good resistances so that it can take a beating and keep on swinging should the enemy somehow get through its block. Good shields are important for this build to prevent that from happening, but we'll discuss that more in the following sections. For the Gloom Knight build, you want to select either the Knight class or Temple Knight class. The Knight gives you a slightly better shield and an easier weapon to use in the longsword, while the Temple Knight has better stat distribution. If you want an easier start, then select Knight. If you want to min-max, then choose Temple Knight. The first thing you need to learn when playing this build is that shields are not all created equal, and selecting a good shield can make all the difference between success and failure. For starters, you can see the resistance that a shield has by going to it in your inventory, pressing the square button, and looking on the right-hand side. Here you'll see the physical resistance, magic resistance, and fire resistance of each shield, as well as its guard break. You absolutely must use a shield that has 100% physical resistance, or you'll take chip damage when you block most regular attacks. Secondly, guard break is a very important stat on shields as it determines how much stamina is drained from your bar when you block an attack. Not all attacks are the same, and some will drain more than others, but the higher this number, the less stamina will be consumed when you block. This is important because you don't want to be guard broken, and you also need to preserve stamina to attack as well. Note that as you upgrade your shield, guard break will improve, allowing for better blocking with it. And last, all shields have an L2 function. Smaller and medium-sized shields use L2 for parrying, and larger shields use L2 for a shield slam attack that deals damage. You shouldn't need to parry or shield slam with this build, so it's not particularly important, but it is worth noting because if you like to parry sometimes, then you will need a shield that can. Stamina management is a huge part of how this build works and is a major part of just about every Demon Souls build. However, it is especially true here because you're going to be blocking and attacking at the same time. This drains stamina quickly, so you must pay attention or you'll be guard broken and take damage. One of the major ways this build deals with this issue is by taking the endurance stat all the way to 40 very quickly, which gives you the maximum stamina you can have. Other ways include lowering your guard when you've created spacing so that your stamina replenishes more quickly, or by upgrading your shield so that you drain less stamina when you block. Gloom Knights really only need 3 stats: endurance, strength, and vitality. Endurance is needed to increase your stamina so that you can block and attack more, and it also increases your maximum equip weight so that you can wear heavier armor and still roll effectively. Strength is needed in order to carry a shield that has high guard break, but you don't need that much to use a good one. Still, you'll need to invest a few points here early in order to make things easier on you. Additionally, it will boost your damage by a small amount. Vitality is needed to increase your HP so that you can take hits and not die, but you won't need a whole bunch of it because you shouldn't be getting hit that often, and you will have good resistances from your armor. You're aiming for a stat spread that looks something like this eventually. You're not going to be a DPS powerhouse with this setup, but you can still deal respectable damage and you'll be extremely hard to kill. Past this point, you'll likely be headed into NG+, where you'll likely increase strength, dexterity, or both to further boost damage. In this section, we'll take a look at what equipment you need in order to play the Gloom Knight build effectively. Keep in mind that you will likely change this up some depending on what section of the game you are on, but this should serve to give you some idea of what setups you're looking for. First, let's take a look at early game. At the beginning of the game, you'll want to pick up and equip the Cling Ring as soon as you can to further increase your health in soul form. You'll likely be in soul form a good amount of the time, so this can really help keep you alive. Be sure to pick up the Ring of Giant Strength beneath the Blue Dragon in the Boletarian Palace so that you can use heavier armor more easily. Equip it immediately after getting it and adjust your armor and equipment around so that you are under 50%. From this point onward, try not to go over 50%. Take off your helmet if you need to, as it has the lowest armor, and shift your armor around again when you pick up some lighter pieces so that you have something equipped in each slot. It's better to have 2 pieces of light armor than 1 piece of heavy. The next thing you'll be on the lookout for is the Winged Spear, which can be found on the bridge where the dragon bombs just after the Phalanx boss fight. You're going to be using this weapon the entire game, so make sure you grab it and upgrade it ASAP. You can purchase Sharpstone and Hardstone shards from the Filthy Man right next to the Stonefang Tunnel Archstone for 500 souls each. If you need souls, farm the skeletons in the Shrine of Storms for 10 minutes and you should have enough. You'll want to be on the lookout for the Steel Shield in Stonefang Tunnel and swap to it when you get it. It has better guard break than the Heater or Kite Shield and helps with stamina management. It does weigh more though, so you may want to stay with your first shield until you can get enough points into Endurance to be able to use it and still stay under 50% equip burden. After you defeat the Armor Spider, you can also purchase large Sharpstone and Hardstone shards from him as well for 1500 souls if you locate him near patches after the Armor Spider Archstone. This means you'll want to defeat this boss as quickly as you can and upgrade your winged spear and steel shield to +6 by farming souls. The miners past the armor spider can also drop these items as well as chunks, and there are many crystal lizards in the area that can as well. Spend some time farming here to get an early start on your equipment. If you're lucky, you can get up to +8 fairly quickly, which will really help your damage and blocking. While in the Shrine of Storms or Swamp of Sorrow, you can pick up the Regenerator's Ring, though you likely won't have enough equip burden to use it when you first acquire it. Once you have enough endurance that you can equip 3 heavy armor pieces and 1 light armor piece without using the Ring of Giant Strength, then swap them out. This will heal you over time, saving you healing items and just generally making your life easier. The next thing you'll need is the Gloom Armor set, which can be obtained in the second part of the Tower of Latria by freeing Yurt the Silent Chief from his cage and then defeating him. You should be able to wear the helm, chest, and legs with a pair of light gloves. I like to use the black gloves since they look similar, and still stay under 50% equip burden. This set has amazing resistances, especially against status ailments. The last thing you'll need for this build is the Dark Silver Shield, which can be obtained from defeating Garl Vinland. It has much less guard break than the Steel Shield, but it has 100% physical resistance, 100% magic resistance, and 70% fire resistance, making it one of the best, if not the best, all-around shield in the game. You can also parry with it, and it is a bit lighter than the Steel Shield, and looks cooler. Final tips. If you manage to get the digital deluxe version of the game, then you can swap out the Steel Shield for the Hoplite Shield, as it has all-around better stats for only 1 more strength requirement. It's a bit heavier at 8 and cannot be upgraded, but has 90% fire resistance, which can help with the Stonefang Tunnel and beyond. Another good item that you could use for this build instead of the Regenerator's Ring, or alongside it if you are in body form, is the Eternal Warrior's Ring. This ring increases your stamina recovery by 8 per second and reduces the time it takes to completely recharge the stamina bar by 1 second, irrespective of armor or equipment. This can help a tremendous amount with your stamina management, but you will have to kill Old King Doran to get it, and you may not want to. One of the reasons that I chose the sharp upgrade path for the Winged Spear was because it frees you up to spend points on durability and vitality and still deal decent damage. But that's not the only reason. This upgrade path also allows you to coat your spear with pine resin, black pine resin, or sticky white slime, further boosting your damage. Some bosses are particularly weak to fire, for example, so buffing with pine resin or black pine resin before the fight and during makes your life a lot easier. Although this build focuses a ton on blocking and attacking, also learn when to dodge. It's not always wise to block every attack just because you can, and sometimes rolling or sidestepping attacks can put you in better position to deal damage. Learn when to dodge and when to block. Lastly, you can turn this into a PvP build by upgrading the Winged Spear to the Scraping Spear at +7. This spear reduces the durability of equipment of those you strike with it, which can be extremely deadly to other players. The downside is that it will deal less damage unless you invest heavily into dexterity, which may take a while since you will need to go all out on endurance early on. Stay tuned for more Demon's Souls build guides as we explore just what sort of builds you can make, and be sure to check out the Demon's Souls wiki if you have specific questions about the game.